What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Time for a little American news. In fact, I missed it over the weekend. Not that I missed it. I had somebody throw this over to my desk on Friday just as I was getting in tune for the AGM. So with all of the Alberta things that were going on this weekend, a lot got swept under the rug. But one of these really needs to be discussed because Donald Trump just flipped America on its head when it comes to potentially corruptible executive orders being signed in the United States. Now, I'm sure all of my American viewers have already heard about this. They've already seen it, but for the Canadian viewers that are out of the loop, let's take a good look at what's going on here. I'll even break out the Trump voice, ladies and gentlemen. Any signed document by Sleepy Joe Biden with the auto pen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated, and no further force or effect. The auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States, okay? The radical left lunatics circling Biden around this beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office took the presidency away from him. I am hereby canceling all executive orders. Anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden, okay? Because the people who operated the auto pen did so illegally. Joe Biden was not involved in the auto pen process, and if he says it was, will be brought up on charges of perjury. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Go get a lollipop. Feel better about yourself, Joe Biden. Here's the thing about what happened with Trump. We look at Colin Rugg tweeting out, breaking. President Trump declares that any document signed with Joe Biden's auto pen is hereby terminated. Any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe, he's terrible. I got to admit it. Okay. With the auto pen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated. Joe Biden was not involved in the auto pen process, as we said. If he says it was, he'll be brought up on perjury. What's funny is there's people that are losing their minds. Wow, is this even legal? You've got Index Red coming in. This makes no sense at all. There's nothing in the Constitution that mentions an auto pen or any specific signing device. Number two, when Trump was charged, I said you can't do it unless you impeach them first. I haven't changed that stance, so it makes no sense here. Otherwise, every president will be brought up on charges by the next regime. Let's get over to the facts. Let's get over to what you guys want to see, the facts. CBS News reporting out 2 days ago that Trump says he's canceling all but Biden orders that were signed under auto pen. Trump said Friday, those are now canceled. Any document signed by Biden via the use of auto pen is hereby terminated and no further force of effect. Mr. Trump wrote on Truth Social. Biden signed 162 executive orders during his presidency, according to the American Presidency Project. It's unclear how many were signed using an auto pen, though it's not unusual for presidents to revoke their predecessors' directives. So that's good, I guess. Mr. Trump has already rolled back dozens of Biden's executive orders. The president rescinded nearly 70 of Biden's executive orders shortly after he was sworn in on January 20th for his second term, and another 19 on March 14th, according to the White House. The reason it's important that Trump is saying, this is what's being missed, I feel, in the plot, is where he says Joe Biden was not involved in the auto pen process, and if he says he was, he'll be brought up on charges of perjury. So Trump obviously has some way of authenticating, I guess, Biden's involvement. You don't want people putting through executive orders that don't have the permission or the right to do so. Executive orders are reserved for the actual president, the sitting president of the United States. So if crooked, corrupt politicians are putting in executive orders under people's noses using an auto pen, it could derail the entire country. Mr. Trump previously ordered an investigation into the Biden White House's use of the auto pen to sign presidential documents like pardons, claiming there was a, quote, conspiracy to abuse the power of presidential signatures through the use of an auto pen to conceal Biden's cognitive decline. In a July statement, Biden called Trump's claims nothing more than distraction. Biden said, "Let me be clear. I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false, Biden said. Well, now Trump's threatening perjury on that. So he must have something that we don't see. House Republicans released a report last month that was critical of Biden's auto pen use, but did not include clear evidence that his aides conspired to sign laws or other directives without his knowledge. Presidents have long used an auto pen to sign documents. In 2005, the Justice Department under President George W. Bush said the president can legally use an auto pen to sign bills into law. In March, Mr. Trump acknowledged he also used an auto pen, but only for very unimportant papers. Executive orders are not unimportant papers. Now, the claim that's being made here, and regardless of what's going on, is that this is securing America's integrity, and it's one that I wish was secured in Canada. Of course, in Canada, where I live, we don't do executive orders. Everything's passed within the House. It goes through readings, a Senate passes it, and then it becomes law. When you have crooked politics, when you have those who wish to twist or undermine the integrity of your electoral system or the laws in which they govern, you have to step in and you have to do something. Again, I don't think that Trump, a very dedicated businessman who understands how laws work, would point the finger at Joe Biden and suggest that what he's doing could involve perjury unless he had a very good reason and the receipts to back it up. I guess we'll see as things unfold, but for the time being, folks, what Trump is doing here is nothing greater than securing America's future by making sure that anything that's signed by an executive order is legally binding and legally authenticated. I almost said authoritated. Authenticated by those involved. I applaud him for doing this. I think it's great. I think Donald's doing wonderful things, I got to be honest. I think he's a wonderful president. I think he's amazing. He's making America great again. Telling Biden to go get his lollipops. Canceling those executive orders, again, as the article states, is not a big deal. These things happen all the time, and Trump could easily do it anytime he wants to. But by pointing out the corruption that could exist, and probably most likely does exist within the government, is ideally what they want to put an end to. Because let's be honest, Trump isn't going to be president forever or indefinitely. There's a time limit on his tenure before President J.D. Vance comes in. I know I'm skipping ahead, but what we have to do is make sure, not only in America, but even where we're at in Canada, that our politicians are secure, that everything that goes through is secure, that even in Canada, as we hand out these contracts and these scandalous deals with other companies, that parliamentary privilege is not brought into play, and those who are corrupted or need to be held to account get a free skate on behalf of the tax-paying public simply because they've covered their own butts with the laws. I think it's great what Trump's doing here. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, I sure hope this video earned your subscription. YouTube just did a huge purge. We're still not yet at the end of the month, before midnight, trying to climb our way up to 150,000 subscribers. That was the goal for the month. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Join the greatest YouTube community on the platform, and also join me Wednesdays and Fridays for Unhinged Fringe. Wednesday nights with my new co-host, Matt. Friday nights with the beautiful Mrs. Fringe, as we talk about everything that happened this week in politics, everything that we know that's coming up in the week ahead, as well as Q&A within the greatest community ever on this platform, full stop. I look forward to chatting with you guys each and every week. I most importantly look forward to chatting with you this week, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, every Wednesday and Friday here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.